is VSiN PrimeTime. Live from the Circus Sportsbook in downtown Las Vegas on VSiN, the sports betting network.
All right, we are in sweat territory. It's 46-36. Celtics lead the Knicks with 1:44 left to go in the second quarter. I need 10 points to hit my second quarter over, which is not looking likely. But the Celtics are in position to cover the first half right now. 7 to 7.5 point favorites, depending on the book, in the first half, and they are up by 10, 46-36 with 1:30 left. They are on the live line minus 12.5 of the game, live total of 191.5. So 46-36 with 1:26 remaining. Now 48-36. All right, a couple of threes here. I might be able to hit this over miraculously, but highly doubt it. Let's turn our attention to Major League Baseball. Joining us now on the Progressive Guest Line, you see him across a variety of shows here on VSiN, and hopefully you listen to the Baseball Betting Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from, courtesy of us here at VSiN. He is Greg Peterson. Greg, we got some games in progress right now, and I want to focus on one of the marquee games that is on the MLB Network or Prime Video tonight. Ooh, Prime Video games. The Yankees hosting the Padres. Padres taking game one of this series when the Yankee bullpen blew it. Yankees taking game two of this series when the Padres bullpen blew it. But both starting pitchers are up to the task so far. Dylan Cease for the Padres, Max Fried for the Yankees. No score, top of the fourth inning there in the Bronx. What's your take on where this game is right now, and what do you see happening as they progress throughout the night?
Well, this game is right now trending to the under, and that's not too much of a surprise to me because I felt like with Dylan Cease there was a lot of positivity that I was doing from him, and Max Fried has been one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. Like, I'd never understood the hate for Max Fried that we saw towards back half of last season. Sure, was a little bit wobbly in the second half of the campaign for the Atlanta Braves, but this has always been a rock-solid pitcher that has really been able to put it together this season. Now, I did take a little bit of a plus money stab on the San Diego Padres. Just being able to get Dylan Cease at north of plus 150 was an offer that I could not refuse, but as of right now, I'm not too surprised as of what we're seeing right now, and I do think that if you look late in the game, if this continues to be tied, there's a little bit of extra value on the San Diego Padres because they do enter in this game number one in the big leagues in terms of bullpen ERA, and we've seen guys not named Luke Weaver be a little bit shaky for that New York Yankees bullpen.
Absolutely. And listen, the Yankees got to that bullpen last night. What are the odds they're going to get to the top bullpen in baseball for the second consecutive night? So maybe a good angle there to look between the Yankees and the Padres. We are just getting underway, still early on in the Orioles and the Twins. Charlie Morton on the mound for the Orioles. Simeon Woods-Richardson going for Minnesota. What do you think this game is going to look like as these two teams progress?
Well, if it continues to be the way that it has been for Charlie Morton, his nickname by the end of this game is going to be Hickory because he has gotten smoked all season long. This guy has been absolutely terrible for the Baltimore Orioles, and getting right around about a minus 130, minus 135 on the Minnesota Twins was an offer that I just simply could not refuse. And I am not a fan of the Minnesota Twins, to say the least. I felt like they were one of the more overrated teams in all of baseball, but now they've got Royce Lewis back in that lineup as well. That should be able to help him out. Now, be cautionary because Royce Lewis in any at-bat can go back on the injured list just as quickly as he came off of it. But you know what? They have him in the lineup right now, but this is an Orioles team that even if they get an okay performance out of Charlie Morton, he's probably not going to go very deep because he's been coming out of the bullpen as well. So Woods-Richardson, who's been seeing a little bit of an uptick in his strikeout numbers, should be able to do a solid job of lending more length. And then when you get into that Orioles bullpen, they've been less than tremendous as well. So I do think that there's still some solid value here on the Twins money line, as I believe that we just got through that first inning scoreless.
Let's get to the games that are coming up here tonight. We got the Tigers at the Rockies. This is a pitching matchup that was supposed to happen yesterday. That game got rained out. Jackson Jobe for the Tigers and Chase Dollander for Colorado. Detroit is a minus 165 favorite with a total of 10, Greg. Obviously, it being in Colorado, you're going to get that inflated total. What do you like in this matchup?
And right now that run line is right around minus 105, minus 110. I took that personally with the Detroit Tigers. This is a Colorado Rockies team that's on pace to win less than 40 games this season. And even at Coors Field, they're averaging less than 4.5 runs per game. These guys just have not been able to get out of their own way. And additionally, for Chase Dollander, this guy has been giving up deep ball after deep ball. It has been deplorable what we've seen out of him thus far this season, as he is right now allowing 2.9 home runs per 9 innings with a 6.49 ERA. It's been not great to say the least. And for the Detroit Tigers, I think that there's a chance that they can go over this total all by themselves because they've been number 2 in the American League in terms of runs per game on the road with a little bit north of 5.2. Spencer Torkelson, Riley Green, all these young guys have been able to put it together. Javi Baez hasn't been useless this year as well. This guy for the last few years was absolutely terrible, and now he's moving the line. He's making good plays out there in the field. This is a Javi Baez that we all know and love from the Chicago Cubs. So that's been great for them. And then additionally, the bullpens, there's no comparison. The Tigers, since the All-Star break of the 2024 season, top 3 team in terms of bullpen ERA. The Colorado Rockies always towards the bottom in terms of the big leagues as well. So I took a shot on the Tigers run line and the over.
Yeah, if there was an award that we can bet on as far as like the most improved player, I mean, I guess it's comeback player of the year, but comeback player of the year is a guy that's coming back from injury, Greg. It's not like in football where they just, if you're a bench player and then all of a sudden you're good, you win the comeback player of the year. And I know they've changed that in the NFL, but like a most improved player, I mean, Javi Baez is that guy, and he's one of the main reasons why the Detroit Tigers are where they are, one of the top records in all of Major League Baseball. The other late game tonight is going to be in LA, or in Anaheim, I should say, between the Blue Jays and the Angels. Jose Barrios goes for the Blue Jays, and former Blue Jay Yusei Kikuchi is on the mound for the Angels. Right now, we are seeing the Jays as a short -115 to -118 favorite, total of 8.5. What do you think is going to happen here with Kikuchi going up against his former team?
And I do think that there's going to be a little bit of positivity here for Yusei Kikuchi, but the biggest thing in this matchup is you've got Jose Barrios on the road. And Jose Barrios at home pitches much different than Jose Barrios on the road. For his career, and this is a decade-long worth of numbers here, he's been giving up right around about 1.5 home runs per 9 innings on the road, which is more than 50% more than the home runs per 9 innings that he gives up at home. His ERA is inflated by a full point as well. Now for the LA Angels, this is an all-or-nothing offense that's in the bottom 5 in terms of batting average. Mike Trout goes on the injured list, and he was hitting a bunch of bombs, but he was hitting below a 200 as well. So I think that impact is actually a little bit less than what a lot of people want to make it out to be. It's also been a little bit awful out there in the field as well. But for the LA Angels, this has been a pretty rough bullpen as well. But I do think that Yusei Kikuchi is able to find it a little bit more in this start. The big thing with him this season has been the command, giving up about 5.3 walks per 9 innings. Last year, he was giving out closer to 2.5 walks per 9 innings. I think that he's going to find it here against the Blue Jays team that they themselves have been in the bottom 3 in the big leagues in terms of home run power. Anthony Santander has not panned out for them. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is still moving the line, but he's not really giving you a lot of power, and that bottom of the lineup has been awful in general. So I took a shot on the under here of 8.5, and I did take a little bit of a plus money sprinkle on the Angels money line.
Our very own Greg Peterson joining us on the Progressive Guest Line. I'm Scott Seidenberg. It's VSiN PrimeTime here on the Sports Betting Network. We are at the half of the Knicks and the Celtics. We'll get to that coming up in a few minutes. But Greg, as we progress into the month of May, we've now had a month or so of data, because I know March we had a couple of games, but a month or so of data now for a lot of these players across Major League Baseball. Is there anybody, any player in particular that you're looking to either attack moving forward, like you're going to back that player maybe on their props, hits plus runs plus RBIs, or over total bases, something like that, or a pitcher that you're looking to back as you move forward? Or is there anybody that you're looking to fade based on what you've seen so far through the first month or so of the season, now that we have this data and we can almost, throw out our priors and just go on what we have this season?
Well, right now, if you're looking at a little bit of an award that I might be taking a look at, Yoshinobu Yamamoto to win NL Cy Young Award. This guy has been absolutely superb, and the way that the LA Dodgers has brought him along so slowly, they had him have a few 5-inning starts, but this guy is really putting it together. I love what I'm seeing out of him. He's going to be pitching on Thursday against Brandon Pfaadt of the Diamondbacks. I personally am probably going to be taking a shot on the Dodgers on the run line if I'm able to get any sort of plus money, which I saw in the opener, so you were able to get a little bit of that, but he's certainly a guy that I'm going to be looking to back. And then if you're looking at players of fade, how about the entire Baltimore Orioles starting pitching staff? Like, we've got Dean Kramer that's going to be coming up on Thursday. This guy has been awful. I talked about how awful Charlie Morton has been. Cade Povich on the road is one of the worst pitchers in all of baseball. Kyle Gibson entered into his last start giving up 12.3 home runs per 9 innings, which I still thought was one of the most hilarious stats I've ever read off. So if I'm looking to just fade an entire unit, just the entire Baltimore Orioles starting pitching staff and how they did not address it in the offseason is beyond me. Like, this is a team that was ready-made. They had all sorts of offense. The bullpen with Yuri Cano, Felix Bautista, that's a great 8th and 9th inning duo if you're able to get there. And yet they decide, we're going to let Corbin Burns walk, and we're going to sign Charlie Morton and Tomoyuki Sugano. So I'm not sure what they're doing there, but I am very much going to be looking to fade the Orioles starting pitching staff, and I'm going to be looking at a lot of overs in their games moving forward.
All right, so we're going to look to fade the Orioles and their pitching staff moving forward. Right now, the Orioles are scoreless in Minnesota with the Twins, and maybe we look at a live bet on the Twins if we're going to continue to fade these Baltimore Orioles. Greg, great stuff as always. We'll be watching you here on VSiN, and we'll certainly be listening to the Baseball Betting Podcast.
Scott, always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you so much.
There he is, our very own Greg Peterson, joining us on the Progressive Guest Line. I'm Scott Seidenberg right here on VSiN Primetime. As I mentioned, we are at the half between the Celtics and the Knicks, and somehow cashed that second quarter to go over with 54 points scored in the second quarter. The Celtics lead the Knicks 50-41 at the half, so they cover the taxed first half line by winning the first half by 9 points. Your live line right now is the Celtics minus 11.5, and your live total is 193.5. Coming up next, we will look at the second half lines, we'll look at the third quarter lines, and we'll see if there's a way we can attack this from an in-game perspective, having already cashed our first half bet and already cashed our second quarter bet. Ride with us as we look to continue to cash right here throughout the night. Plus, we still have the Nuggets and Thunder coming up. We are beginning the second period in Toronto between the Leafs and the Panthers. Whew, we're just getting started. I'm Scott Seidenberg right here on VSiN Primetime on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN Primetime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Scott Seidenberg back here with you. This is VSiN Primetime right here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. So the Celtics have a 9-point lead at the half, and they lead 50-41 over the New York Knicks. The live line is Celtics minus 11.5, and your live total is at 192.5. And I'm looking to see if there is an angle here to attack the third quarter of this game. Now, let's look at some of the numbers that I told you from earlier when we handicapped this game. Okay? So when I looked at the Celtics after a loss this year, this is where the numbers really jumped out. This is why we were on the Knicks team total to go under, because the Celtics after a loss this year, absolutely dominant. 20-2 straight up, we know that for a fact. And they were 18-4 ATS, covering by 8.3 points per game. Their opponent's team total 17-5 to the under, going under by 9.5 points per game. Now, the other angle that we were looking at, and then we looked at the first half, why we liked the Celtics to cover the first half. They were outscoring their opponents 59-51, which is kind of what they did almost here, right? And we looked at the playoff history of teams that lose in the playoffs as a 9-point favorite or greater, and then in the next game are 9-point favorites or greater once again. And those teams were 13-0, perfect straight up, and against the spread, they were 9-4, but they're winning the games by 17.5 points per game, and they were outscoring their opponents by 10 points in the first half, which is why we loved playing the Celtics in the first half, and we played the Thunder in the first half for the game coming up a little bit later. But now I want to look specifically at the third quarter, because here's something that I found interesting. If you look at the numbers in the third quarter for the Celtics this year after a loss, the first quarter and the third quarter are their two biggest margins of victory. They outscore their opponents by almost 6 points per first quarter, and they outscore their opponents by 6 points per third quarter, 31-25. They are outscoring their opponents in the third quarter. So the first and the third quarter is the way that the Celtics have built these big leads. And look at what happened. Celtics dominated the first quarter. They lose the second quarter here tonight, but let's see what happens in the third quarter. Let's look at the game against the Magic when they lost the previous game to the Magic, and then they, came out and won and covered that game. They won the first quarter. They actually lost the third quarter, 27-26, and it was a decent fourth quarter, 28-23, that helped them cover. But just in general this season, including losing the third quarter of that game by 1 point, on average, still outscoring their opponents 31-25 in the fourth quarter. Now, what about the playoff teams in general? The 13 playoff teams that were 9-point favorites lost that game, and then in the next game against the same team, once again, 9-point favorites. As I mentioned, 13-0 undefeated, 9-4 against the spread, covering the first half by 10 points per half. Well, those teams in the third quarter outscoring their opponents 27.7 to 23.5. So about 4 points per third quarter. And that is, let's see, this first quarter is 27 to 23, so about 4 points there. Second quarter is 27 to 23, same thing, 4 points there. Third quarter, 27.7 to 23.5, so right around 4 points there. And the fourth quarter is actually 25 to 24. So really, it's every quarter. I think this is where we place a bet right now. I think we place a bet on the Celtics third quarter. This, to me, feels like where a 9-point game turns into a 15 to 20-point game. That's the type of game it feels like. I saw somebody post something funny on Twitter that said, well, the Knicks were down double digits. That's the bad news. But the good news is the Knicks are down double digits, because that's exactly how you win. That was Tommy Beer on Twitter. That's exactly how you win a playoff game here, is being down double digits in the playoffs. That's how you guarantee yourself a victory here. That's pretty funny. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to recommend playing the Celtics here in the third quarter. Now, DraftKings has it up at -3.5. That's not a line I would play. MGM has it at -1.5 at -140. That's a line that I will play. In fact, I just put that in right now. Celtics third quarter, -1.5. Let's try and find you some better lines out there. Let's see. Third quarter, -2 I'm seeing at DraftKings, 2.5. -2 at Caesars, reduced VIG, though. So you want the -2.5, you can do the -105, or -1.5 is at the -140 price, which is what I just got here at MGM. So widely available on, these national mobile sports books that you have. You can place your bet there. But that's a bet that I would recommend right now, is the Celtics third quarter spread. Celtics to win the third quarter. That is a bet that we are in at right now, as once again, if we look at all the games, the Celtics this season, after a loss, where they have been dominant, 20-2 after a loss this year, 18-4 against the spread, holding their teams, the opponent's team total, to go under by 10 points per game, which is why Knicks team total to go under is the play that we love. They're outscoring their teams on an average of, let's see, I mean, they're holding them, as I mentioned, under 10 points per game, and we're looking at 120.6 points per game they are averaging. So we are getting underway here in the third quarter, and we are on the Celtics to cover this third quarter spread. They're outscoring their opponents 31-25 in the third quarters in games after a loss this season. So they are underway. Knicks miss a 3, so looking like a good start here to the third quarter. All right, we're also keeping an eye on the action on the ice as we are in the second period. And remember, I said a bet that I liked. We talked about the over 1.5 goals. You could have bet the -160 at the over 1.5 goals. Or a better bet that I love placing, and I didn't get it in, so I have a lot of betting FOMO, but I hope you guys got it in when I spoke about it, was both teams to score at +150. I know a lot of books do offer that. I haven't been able to find it on DraftKings, but other books do offer the both teams to score in those respective periods. Well, both teams have scored here in the second period, and we are tied at 2 between the Maple Leafs and the Panthers here in the second period. A goal by Max Pacioretty for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and Brad Marchand scoring for the Florida Panthers. So we are tied at 2 here in the second period. No power plays yet in this second period, but 12 shots on goal for the Panthers, 9 for the Toronto Maple Leafs, as these teams are knotted at 2. Your live total right now is at 7.5, and it is juiced to the under at minus 145. Now at 2-2 with 12 minutes to go in the second period, I don't have a feel for the total. I'm much more comfortable betting a total when one team is ahead. Now, I know we can get there, because as soon as somebody takes a lead and it's 3-2, we are already at 5 goals, and we are very live to get to at least 7. What I would wait for is I would wait to see if there's no more goals scored for the next, let's say, 5 minutes or so. Wait till we get maybe this dropping down to 6.5, okay? I don't have any interest in the 7.5 because this game could very easily wind up being a 3-3 overtime game. So if it ends the second period at 2-2, I would look to play an over, because not only are we have the ability to go 3-3 into overtime, but 3-2 can easily become 4-2, or could become 4-3 in regulation once we get empty net opportunities. But right now, with 12 minutes to go in the second period, no feel for the total just yet. It is at 7.5, minus 145 to the under. Let's just wait a bit, and let's see if we can get a 6.5 and still have... If we can get a 6.5 before the end of the second period, that's when I would play it. But if we have to wait till the start of the third period, that's a whole nother story. So let's keep an eye on that and monitor where we are here between the Maple Leafs and the Panthers. And then still to come, about an hour or so from now, the Stars at the Jets, game 1 of that second round series. And then, of course, in the NBA, we have game 2 between the Thunder and the Nuggets, also about an hour or so from now. 57-47, the Celtics lead the Knicks with 8:35 to go in this third quarter. If you want to know where the real money is going, unlike other sources, our betting splits come straight from Circa and DraftKings, giving you the insight into where the sharp action is landing. You can see the percentage of bets versus the percentage of handle on every game across every major sport, helping you make smarter, more informed bets. Get VSiN's exclusive betting splits for as little as $9.99 for your first month at vsin.com/subscribe. This is VSiN PrimeTime.
This is VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Back here on VSiN PrimeTime. I'm Scott Seidenberg here on the Sports Betting Network. Let's see, right now, still tied at 2 between the Maple Leafs and the Panthers with 10 minutes to go in the second period, although I believe we are getting a penalty, so we might have a power play opportunity for somebody. We'll get you caught up with everything going on here, but the market is frozen right now because I think we have a Leafs player headed to the box, so we'll update you on what's going on there. Meanwhile, for the Celtics and the Knicks, Boston still up 57-47 with 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Boston leading by 1 here in the third quarter. We did lay the 1.5 on Boston in the third quarter, hoping that they can pull away. And for the Knicks team total looks good to go under, but Boston, if you were looking at a team total to go over, not looking good here, as they are on pace for about 101 points. Knicks are on pace for about 90 or so points, and it doesn't look like we're going to get points here in the second quarter, as both of these teams, points are just extremely difficult to come by here in this game. This is a physical brand of basketball. Don't really see a lot of fouls being called. It has picked up a little bit as far as the free throw attempts. The Celtics are 7 of 10 from the free throw line, but the Knicks just 4 of 4 from the free throw line. Now 5 of 6 from the free throw line as Brunson goes 1 of 2. So they're not getting to the line as much as they had in prior games, as the officials are letting them play. Knicks, meanwhile, are 3 of 15 from three-point range, and the Celtics 6 of 24 from three-point range, as the cold shooting just continues. Now, they're not going to miss 45, which is why they're up by 10 right now and can look to stretch this lead. But they're still going to miss a lot of three-pointers. But this is a team that lives by the three and dies by the three. Again, they take the most in the entire NBA. They make the most also. But we'll see if the shooting continues to be cold. Only 14 points scored here halfway through the third quarter, as this game is just under city. I mean, my goodness. I mean, I can't believe I actually thought the Celtics might score 110 or 115 in this game. And that's an offensive foul, no basket for the Knicks. OG wants them to review it, but it looked like a pretty good defensive play there for the Celtics taking that charge. Meanwhile, I think the Panthers are on the power play as I look towards the television. And let's see. Panthers, let's see. It is tied at 2. The Panthers are on the power play here. Didn't see who got the penalty, but there is a power play for the Panthers, tied at 2 with 8:42 to go here in the second period. Your live market right now, the total is at 7.5. It is heavily juiced to the under. I'm waiting for this thing to tick down to 6.5 to make a play. But right now, 7.5 minus 220 to the under. And the Panthers minus 154 favorites in the game. Toronto Maple Leafs at home, plus 120 dogs, despite being tied here with about 8 minutes to go in the second period. In Major League Baseball, it is the Phillies who have opened up a 6-0 lead on the Rays down there in Tampa. Christopher Sanchez is on the mound for Philly. And through 4 innings of work as they go to the bottom of the fifth, he has allowed just 1 hit. Speaking of hits, Dylan Cease pitching for the Padres has gone through 5 innings already with no hits allowed. That's right. Dylan Cease has gone through 5 no-hit innings against the Yankees. He is at 66 pitches already. So 76, 86, 96. He's not going to go the distance. How long do they let him go? If the Yankees can be, judiciary with their pitch selection, maybe we get to a situation where they can get him out of the game by the 7th inning. But top of the 6th inning in the Bronx, Max Fried is pitching well. I mean, Max Fried, Cy Young candidate, he is doing his job. 5 innings, just 1 run allowed on a solo home run by Jackson Merrill. That is it. Max Fried has allowed just the 1 solo home run on 5 hits, 5 strikeouts, no walks. Meanwhile, Dylan Cease, 5 no-hit innings against the Yankees right now, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, the difference between him pitching for a no-hitter or not. Also, there was an error by the Padres, so has not been perfect. His fielders also let him down, but everybody for the Yankees is an 0-4. Leading off the bottom of the 6th will be Jason Dominguez. So it'll be 7, 8, 9. Dominguez, Cabrera, and Vivas playing second base for the Yankees tonight. Aaron Judge has struck out twice against Dylan Cease, and with the 0-for-2 tonight, Aaron Judge has dropped his batting average to .406 on the season. I got to be honest, I'm really worried about this guy. A .406 batting average. Oh, my goodness. What a season Aaron Judge is having. Historic numbers. Meanwhile, the third quarter going as we like to see it here in Boston. I mentioned this feels like the situation where the 9-point lead at half balloons into a 15 to 20 point lead or so, and that is exactly what we have seen as the Celtics have opened up a 68 to 50 lead on the Knicks with 4:37 to go in the third quarter. Your live line right now, Celtics minus 16.5, and your live total is at 188.5. Now, here's what I'm curious about. I wonder if the Celtics complete this performance and they win this game and cover the double-digit spread, if it will have an impact in an hour from now on the late betting in the Nuggets and Thunder game. And the reason why I say that is because the Thunder are in the same situation as the Celtics. They were massive favorites in game number 1. They lost at home. They blew a huge lead and lost at home as big favorites, and now they're double-digit favorites, laying 10 right now here at Circa. If the Celtics show the bounce back scenario, the zigzag, and all the trends that we have laid out here on these big favorites in the playoffs that come back after losing those games to then cover the next game, does the market now adjust? Do people come in? Does money come in on the Thunder to cover over the Nuggets after seeing the Celtics cover against the Knicks? I tend to believe that's going to be the case. So if you are intrigued by the Denver Nuggets, I might wait because it's minus 10 right now. You can get plus 10.5 maybe, or maybe even plus 11 as soon as we get closer to game time, assuming the Celtics finish this out. Because I believe the betting market is going to see, oh, well, the Celtics were big favorites and they lost game one and they came back and they won by 20. So the Thunder are big favorites. They lost game one. Now they're going to come back and win by 20. I can see this spread moving by the time we get to tip off about an hour from now. So if you want the Thunder, if you like the Thunder, and I'm on the Thunder in the first half, like I was on the Celtics in the first half, I'd get in on it now because the only way I see the movement going here, and again, this is based off what I'm seeing right now in this Knicks game where the Celtics are winning 68-50 with four and change left in the third quarter. If the Celtics continue to pull away and win this game and cover convincingly, I think that's going to sway people for the second game. And I think we're going to start to see money coming in like we already have on the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I could see this line getting to 10.5. So again, you like the Thunder, get in now. You like the Celtics, that's one that I would probably... the Nuggets, that's one I'd probably wait for here. So that's one. Definitely keep an eye on that for sure. I'm Scott Seidenberg. You can always hit me up on Twitter at ScottsOnAir, ScottsOnair. Taking a look back in on the NHL game. Still tied at 2. And there's 3 minutes to go in the second period. And now we have that 6.5 popping up. It is minus 145. I'd like that to be a little bit less. But with 3 minutes left in the second period, I think this is the time to buy in on the over 6.5 because we can get a goal here, certainly in the final 3 minutes. We give ourselves that cushion, but also I do believe that we get more scoring here in the third period, whether it's a team taking the lead and then getting an empty net opportunity or maybe 2 empty net opportunities, or as we say in hockey, 3 + 3 = 7. So we can have a 3-3 overtime game. At 2-2, at 6.5, you're paying a tax on what it was before the game, but if we're just evaluating right now, I think I would take a flyer on the over 6.5. Right now, I know you're going to get reduced juice if we wait the 3 minutes until the end of the period, but I kind of want to give myself this 3-minute cushion to see if we get a goal here in the final 3 minutes. I want to remind you guys, ProfitX, offering the best odds on baseball all season long. ProfitX is a peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40-plus states, the first of its kind in the U.S. You're going to be able to make your sports picks against other group of fans rather than against sports books, and exchanges guarantee the best odds on average by 10 to 20%. You can even request your own odds. Download ProfitX today with code VSiN and earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month. Right now, we are underway in Colorado. Tigers and Rockies, and still to come, the Blue Jays at the Angels. I'm Scott Seidenberg. This is VSiN Primetime, right here on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN Primetime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
And this is why you get in on that over 6.5 when I said so with the 3 minutes remaining in the second period rather than waiting till the start of the third, because we wanted to give ourselves cushion the final 3 minutes in case we get another goal. And we did. The Toronto Maple Leafs have scored and have taken a 3-2 lead over the Panthers. There's now a minute and a half left to go in the second period, and your live total is now back up to 7.5. And how about the Maple Leafs, who were dogs for a majority of this game, are now minus 270 on the money line. If you believe in the Panthers' ability to come back and win, you can get plus 200 on the Panthers right now with a live total of 7.5 as we have a 3-2 game, final seconds here of the second period. Meanwhile, a little bit of a surge here from the Knicks as they have come all the way back with a minute left to go in the third quarter, 73-61. The Celtics leading the Knicks. And this was at one point, the Celtics were outscoring the Knicks 20-9 here in this third quarter. But the Knicks have gone on an 11-3 run right now as the Celtics have taken a timeout with 58.4 seconds remaining in this third quarter. So we got a little bit of spread drama here. We did lay the 1.5 on the Celtics in the third quarter. They are winning the third quarter by 3. But what was once considered to be a cruising victory, a rocking chair winner, if you will, they have blown this lead, and I bet you a lot of Celtics fans are starting to think Knicks were down 20 points, or the Celtics had a 20-point lead in the third quarter in Game 1, and they blew that lead, and the Knicks came back to win. The Celtics had a 20-point lead here in the third quarter of Game number 2. Can the Knicks come back and win it once again? That is definitely going through the minds of a lot of Celtics fans right now, as the Celtics' largest lead in this game was exactly 20. The Knicks have never led. They've never led. And it is 73-61, 38 seconds left here in the third quarter. Knicks are now 6 of 21 from three-point range. Celtics are 8 of 28 from three-point range, and the Celtics have a 3-point lead in this third quarter, and we need it to stay this way with our Celtics minus 1.5 bet here in the third quarter. Again, 73-61, Celtics leading here in the third quarter. 7 seconds to go now in the third quarter, 73-61. I don't even know who has the basketball because the sportsbook is ahead of the TV. So I'm actually going to turn away from the sportsbook and just look at the television because I don't want to find out that I lost a bet by the sportsbook showing me that, the Knicks scored and it's now 73-63. Celtics have the basketball. Let's see, 73-61. Closing seconds. I wonder if they're going to hold for the final shot. I bet you that the reason why the sportsbook froze at 7 seconds was because, the Celtics still have the basketball. I was about to say maybe the Celtics played out the rest of the shot clock and then missed, and the Knicks got the final shot of the quarter. Ideally, if the Celtics can just hold this ball for the final shot of the third quarter, they will cover the third quarter spread no matter what line you got. So they are up by 3 right now in the third quarter, and there's under 7 seconds remaining. And let's see. I believe they're going to hold for the final shot. Jaylen Brown shoots a 3. He misses it at the buzzer. But okay. Sometimes they don't have to be pretty to cash. Congratulations. File that one away. We cash another one here on VSiN PrimeTime. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Hit me up on Twitter at ScottsOnAir, ScottsOnAir. I don't know if you guys are keeping score at home, but I hope you're listening and cashing with us here because we've already cashed the first half. Celtics laying the 7. We cashed the second quarter to go over 52.5. We cashed the Celtics in the third quarter minus 1.5. And now we're looking to see if the Celtics can continue this for the remainder of the game and cover the original line. And if the Knicks stay under their team total of 100.5, which at 61 points right now, that looks to be the case. As we don't want to see the Knicks wind up with a 40-point fourth quarter because that would just be ridiculous. But the Celtics lead 73-61. Let's take a look at the live markets right now and see if there's a fourth quarter bet that we are intrigued by. Okay, so your live number right now is the Celtics minus 11.5. That is interesting. So they're up by 12, and they're 11.5-point favorites for the game. So that's saying, wow, that is giving the fourth quarter to the New York Knicks. How about that? Let's look at what DK has up here for the fourth quarter. Knicks minus 0.5, total of 48.5 points for the fourth quarter. So 48.5 for the fourth quarter. Oh, it has now been bet up to 49.5. So we lost that 48.5. It has now been bet up to 49.5. But 73 to 61. 73 to 61. We're at 134. And let's see. We get 50 more points to hit the over. That's 183.5. Do we have a 50-point fourth quarter in us? Is there any intrigue in live betting the over at 183.5? That's the question I'm going to ask myself. Knicks continue to be pathetic from three-point range. 6 of 21 from three-point range. The Celtics, meanwhile, 8 of 29 from three-point range. They started the game 3 of 10 in the first quarter. They didn't shoot that much better in the second quarter. Well, they picked it up a little bit in the second quarter, especially Derek White. But for the entirety of the game, 8 of 29. I would expect at least 10 three-pointers from the Celtics in this fourth quarter. So something to keep an eye on here. The total has been bet up now to 184.5. So there is people coming in and betting the over as the fourth quarter is about to get underway. 73-61. I'm going to say no play right now for this. I would lean towards the over, though. Seeing it move up to 184.5 kind of lends me to kind of like makes me feel like I'm thinking the right thing here as the market is adjusting accordingly. And the Celtics are up to 12.5 point favorites right now. Yeah, if I had to play, if I did have to play one thing, it would be the over. I would say to go, but no play right now. We're just going to let this. We're going to let this ride out here. See if the Celtics can finish this out as the fourth quarter is about to get underway. Nuggets and OKC will tip off about 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes or so right now. And let's take a look at what we have for the third period between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Florida Panthers. So right now, we are at 3-2. Panthers, Maple Leafs lead the Panthers. Your total is at 7.5, juice to the over. I don't have an interest there because 3-3 can just get us to 7 if this game goes to overtime. Third period total, the over 1.5 is minus 180. Oh boy. Minus 180. Now, this is the one thing that does give me some caution here. If the Panthers tie this game, we absolutely could see another goal scored in the third period. In fact, we saw it last night between the Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers, where the Knights had a 2-1 lead going into the third period, and then the Oilers scored very early into the third period to tie it at 3, or to tie it at 2, and then with about 3 minutes or so left, the Oilers take the lead 3-2, and then not even with the empty net, they got a breakaway goal from Brown, and they made it 4-2. So you got 3 goals in that third period. And so it's very easy to see multiple goals being scored. But let's say the Oilers don't score there with 3 minutes left. That game, from the first minute on, when the Oilers scored, and they scored how quickly into that third period? It was like, a minute into the third period when Draisaitl had that backhander that went off Adin Hill? For the next 15 minutes or so of that period, that felt like it was going to overtime. And so while I lean towards the over, and you're paying a price right now at minus 180, because we could get a game, we could get the Maple Leafs scoring a goal, going up 4-2. We could get more than one empty netter, right? If this winds up being a 3-2 game, 3-2 could easily turn into 5-2. The Leafs could get 2 empty net goals. I do think the Panthers score and tie the game at some point, or score a third goal at some point. But I'd be very careful on laying that minus 180 on the over. I think I'd rather just take a flyer on the plus money price on the Panthers to come back and win at plus 220 or plus 250. Don't forget, right now at Circa, you can go all in with the ultimate getaway package, just $400. That's it. Get you 2 nights here at Circa, a $100 dining credit, a $100 beverage credit, and your very own daybed at Stadium Swim. Limited time offer valid for stays between May 26th and September 4th. Book now.